Sorry, I'm responding to a Hinge message.
Oh my gosh.
The boys.
The boys. I love that for you. Can't wait to meet them at the wedding.
Okay.
I don't want to meet them till then.
You want to be surprised.
I do.
When you officiate the wedding.
Oh, I'm officiating.
When you sing at the wedding.
That I will do. What am I singing? Outside by Mariah.
How about like, what you sing is also a surprise. If you get a bad impression from the guy, you sing a sad song.
Okay.
And if you get a good impression from the guy, you sing a happy song.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think it's good to make it more interactive. I feel like that's what's missing from weddings. And so between you and me and the audience, when you guys are there, we'll live stream this, don't worry. Hi everybody, welcome back to Two Gay Matts. It's Matt Palmer.
And it's Matt Steele.
And this week, we are doing a video that was voted on by the Discord. We sent a screenshot of like, these are possible 2K Matts video ideas, and this was the overwhelming favorite, in which we go through our pop divas and discuss what we think of their album covers.
Yes.
We look through their whole discographies, but we're just gonna talk about what we put in the top category, the mid category, and the flop category.
Yes, we're not gonna go through every single one of Madonna's album covers because there are about 5,000.
That's the thing. There's only so much time we have here, guys.
Yes.
We can't go through every single
album. And I'm editing, so.
I'm just talking album covers here, not albums themselves.
Yes, there are amazing albums with bad covers, but albums that like we also don't love, but it's like, girl, that album
cover is it. When we go through each person, do we start with the top or start with the flop?
Oh, I don't know. What do you want to do?
Let's start with the flop.
Okay.
So are you ready to jump into it?
Let's just jump in right away.
Okay.
You guys know the rules.
All right. Beyonce.
So with Beyonce, it's a problem because Beyonce has no lower tier of anything.
That's true.
In terms of like visuals.
She's never flopped?
I would say the one that gives me the least amount of impression is probably I Am Sasha Fierce.
Interesting.
I would say, what would you say?
I think the bottom for me, I have two. I would say B-Day.
She's so beautiful in that picture.
She's beautiful, but it doesn't reflect the impactfulness of that album. She's a little beautifully blank to me. And the font with Beyonce, which again, it was 06, it was a different time, it has not aged well. And I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of bad blowback for this. I never loved the Dangerously in Love cover.
Okay, the Dangerously in Love cover is a little blank in the background, but just the position of the body.
Yes.
The sparkles are in just the right spots.
Yes.
So I would say it's lower mid-tier.
Okay. I think it's beautiful. Like, she looks beautiful. The outfit is great. Again, it's the fonts and just like, she's not basic like this, but it was her debut album. She was just coming out of a girl group.
Oh, yeah.
I give her a pass.
With debut albums, it's so funny because a lot of times it's just like, let's just get a good picture.
Exactly.
Like, this is the person singing, please buy this.
Please buy it.
Yeah.
Mid-tier.
I would say 4 is solidly mid-tier.
4 is in my mid-tier as well.
The thing I do like about 4 is the fact that like her name is almost entirely covered, which is kind of a badass move. You know who this is. It's
Yes, and it's like, yeah, I do know who that is. Yeah. I'd say along with that middle tier for me is Sasha Fierce. I think the black and white, even though I'm sure by the end of the era she was sick of it, it was a solid theme at the time, but my issue is more so, again, the fonts. The fonts were the problem for a while with Beyonce, but she solved them all. Your top.
I mean, top tier is self-titled
Beyonce.
A fucking moment. How dare you? I remember when that album came out and your reaction to that. We have a reaction video to when that album dropped if you would like to watch.
I'm sure you've seen it.
Matt Palmer just freaking out, just being like, look at that, look at that. That's the cover, that's it right there. Focus on that. What the fuck is this?
Look at that. That is what Beyonce, it's just that. That's the album art. A black thing with the word Beyonce on it.
Let me focus. Wait, what's the album called?
It's called Beyonce! But that's all it needed to be.
All it needed to be.
Absolutely.
As a surprise album dropped in the middle of nowhere. It was the opposite of 4. It's like, with 4, it was like, you don't need to see my name, look at me.
Yes.
But with Beyonce, it was just like, Beyonce.
Yes.
This is all you need to know.
I love that font choice. It's very classic. I love the color. I love that it's all black. There's an album that's gonna come up later that should have had this similar kind of cover. I would put Renaissance up near the top as well.
Renaissance, I would say, is 3rd place.
Okay.
Because I would also in the top put Lemonade.
Oh, classic.
Just a classic. It is artistic.
Yes.
It has mystery. It has despair. It has edge. It has grit. When that image came out, you were just like, what the fuck is this gonna be?
And then you watch the first shot of the film and it's that, and you're like, fuck! From here on out, I definitely feel like she only needs like her name or the title or a picture of herself that we can see who it is. Never all three again.
Never all three.
Never all three.
Sometimes you don't, with lemonade, you don't even need the face.
No.
No.
Lemonade. It's like, yes, I will be buying. Thank you. Also, we have to hurry up.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna go straight to Mariah. Which are her flop album covers?
You know my flop album cover for Mariah Carey.
I know.
It is, I have a headache.
Which I disagree. I think she looks lovely on the charm bracelet cover, which is what he's referring to if you weren't clear. I'd put that in the middle for me.
The middle?
The middle.
No, she looks like she's gritting her teeth. She looks nervous.
She's a supermodel, and some people don't get that.
Of course she's beautiful and stunning, but it's my least favorite cover.
I would say for me, Music Box, just because, like, we're too close.
Do you want to see my impression of Music Box?
Yes. It's just like, we all need to back up a bit. And Emotions is like, the vertical lettering on Emotions, the sepia tone.
It was of its time.
I understand that. It was a different time. It has not held up. It's not timeless like many of her covers are.
Sure, but I love the position of the body. I love the glee. I love the wind blowing up in her face to go along with the wind, the song.
What tier would you put that in?
I would put that as lower mid-tier.
Okay.
I wouldn't put it as lower tier. You know what I would also put in lower tier for Mariah? E equals MC squared.
Interesting.
I'm just confused as to what she's doing with the body. Like it's like, why? It's like, oh, that triangle above her head is an arm, and like, what's her arm? But like, it's too far away to really figure out what the position is. The font just not like.
It is weird that it's not the Mariah Carey font. She is one of those people that like you could literally, through most of her albums, see the same font on everything, and that different font does lower it a little bit for me.
And just the lower angle. It's like, I just have questions about the pose, and it's an image that it's not clear to see what is happening.
Okay,
yeah.
I think that's fair. Middle tier for me, I would say the debut. It's an iconic cover because of course that is like the debut, everyone's seen it. There's like a very 90s picture of like Will Smith playing a Nintendo and a Mariah Carey CD. That CD is there. I understand it's iconic, but just like, it's a little simple, a little like base, but it's like every debut, we're just introducing the artist. I'd also put this upper middle tier. The only reason it's really middle tier because this is such an iconic album cover is because it's the same picture as the first single cover, but zoomed in. Daydream is perfect. It's a perfect picture. The like lettering and where it lands on that cover is brilliant. There's nothing more 90s than the Daydream album cover, but I just think the reusing of that picture drops it down.
I would say nothing can drop that image down because Daydream is her best album cover. I think that image is just so iconic.
It is.
Everyone had that album. I saw that image in everyone's home. She looks gorgeous. It's like, I love the composition of the photo. And normally I agree with you where it's like, I don't like it when it's like you can tell there was an amazing wider shot and they just like zoomed into the face, and that is what Daydream is, but like, fuck, it's still just such a gorgeous shot of her.
It is gorgeous.
Yeah.
What are your mid tiers?
You hate this cover. I would say Memoirs of an Imperfect Angel is, I think she looks genuinely happy.
No.
I like her smile.
And also, like, what album is she like less happy on?
I know, it doesn't match the album at all.
No.
I think Mariah has such a lovely smile.
She does.
I think she looks so genuinely happy on that cover and the cover of Glitter. She's so happy.
Oh, Glitter's a great cover. For my top tier, I have 3. Or 4 actually. Emancipation of Mimi is her most iconic, like most like gorgeous, perfect, like this is who Mariah Carey is in 2005. This is who we all wanted to be in 2005. She's rising like a phoenix from the ashes, what she was doing with her career. Just like, there's no notes on that cover. Brilliant. Butterfly. We're keeping everything brown. We're keeping everything neutral tone. It's very today. Everything's neutral now, thanks to Mariah Carey. A personal favorite of mine, the number 1's cover.
I mean, that was the album where she was like, don't just look at my body of work, look at my body.
Yes, she's giving you sex appeal. Like that is a supermodel photo shoot right there. And then last but not least, looking back on all these, the Caution cover.
Stunning.
Great.
You know what I also love? I also love the back cover.
Yes.
Where we love a far away full body image of Mariah with the M, and like the M is behind it. It's very neon, it's very cool.
It's really good.
It's really lovely. Daydream is better than all of them.
Oh
I'm
my
so
God.
sorry. Daydream is it.
It's iconic. I don't know if it's better. Taylor.
We're doing bottom tiers.
Bottom tiers.
I mean.
Reputation's unforgivable. We all can agree on it. Like truly, what in the word art is this?
I don't think there are any other options.
I'd say if you look at the debut a little long, you're like, Was this made by a teenager on Photoshop?
The blurriness of like the background is a little weird. Debuts I always give more of a pass to, I would say.
You never get a pass from me. And she had the font for a minute, and I get we're trying to do a Mariah, keep the Taylor Swift font. I'm very glad she dropped that cutesy, curly, like Taylor Swift font that's on like the first 3 album covers because it was just too much. And that is the most like flowery and like poorly edited cover, I would say.
Okay.
Mid-tier, what would you say?
Mid-tier, I would say Red.
Yeah,
I think Red is a good album cover.
Yes.
She looks good. It fits the vibe of the album. It's very 2012, very of the time.
Yeah. Looked great on a pizza box.
Looked great on a pizza box.
Looked great. Mid-tier for me, I would say Fearless. I think that's an iconic. Excuse me, do you have something to say?
I will talk later.
Okay, I think that's an iconic picture. The font is still a mess on her name. It's good. I think 1989 is also mid-tier for me. It's like we're keeping with the theme. Polaroids. There's a cuter picture. I think it's the style cover where you can see the short hair just kind of looking behind her. Both good.
They're both my top tier. Fearless and 1989 are her 2 best album covers.
My favorite album covers of hers are the 2 Taylor's versions of Fearless and Red.
Oh!
I think I would say Red maybe is number 1. I think they are really beautiful. I mean, obviously, they're very much more now. It's much more 2021, 22 looking. But even still, they just look polished and glossy and like up to the standard of what Taylor Swift has become. Like, it's less about this is what we're doing at this moment and more about like, you know who the fuck I am. And like, I'm gonna give you the vibe of this album that you already know.
Okay, Fearless to me, just the way the curls fall, composition-wise is perfect. It's a gorgeous picture. Like, her hair looks animated.
Kelly Clarkson, the flop.
The flop is all I ever wanted.
Oh, absolutely.
What is that background?
I don't know that I had looked closely at that cover in a long time before we were preparing for this video, and it's like, why are there so many colors? Like, it's just like so much happening.
It doesn't even feel like of the time.
No.
Yeah.
It just feels like we're in a circus and like colors have been chosen on a wheel. It's her look is very like, it just doesn't feel like her. And that is the album that she was kind of forced in, not the whole album she was forced into making, but the My Life Will Suck Without You. She was very much forced into it. The whole feeling of the album art feels like she was forced into it.
Okay.
All right, mid-tier?
I would probably put Breakaway.
Yes, that'd be lower mid-tier for me, but yes.
Oh, really?
I think there's an alternate cover that's better where the background's a bit darker, her hair is blonder, she's kind of looking up. But that, like, and again, it was the time, it was 2004.
That font.
That font.
That font is the time.
Everything around that text, I'm like, whoa, we're in American Eagle, we are at Abercrombie, like, it's a lot.
I would put Meaning of Life as upper mid-tier.
Oh, yes, that's a good one. That is a good one.
Yeah.
I would put My December as upper mid-tier. And I'd put it higher if it weren't for that font and all the shit around.
Oh, you gotta get over the fonts.
I can't. The fonts, I'm looking at them.
Because My December is top tier.
It's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous. The picture is stunning. But I would say as full covers, the stronger cover is better.
Oh.
I like it. I think it's a beautiful picture of her. I think it's not doing too much. I like the pop of color and the kind of black and white pick.
I don't like how slightly off-center it is.
I think she looks great, and it doesn't.
She looks good,
and it doesn't feel off-center to me. It doesn't feel unbalanced.
It feels a little like off-center to me, and not like a cool, edgy off-center like Breakaway, but kind of just like oh, here I am.
But you know what her actual best cover is?
What?
Wrapped.
Oh, gorgeous.
That is a Christmas album
gorgeous.
Cover. It is gorgeous, and you know I've been harping on the fonts. The fonts are perfect. She's like an alien, like a Christmas alien.
Oh, her head looks like it's about to spin around.
It's lovely.
But like, it works.
One of my favorite pictures of her ever. All right, Miss Janet Jackson.
The thing is, like, her string of amazing, like 4 amazing albums, like Control, Rhythm Nation, Janet, and Velvet Rope, I think are such perfect album covers. They are so good.
It's hard to pick between them.
Janet is just such a gorgeous beauty shot, and Rhythm Nation just gives, Rhythm Nation and Velvet Rope, I think, gives such a vibe for what the albums feel like. But something about Control, that deco image, just
that is great.
It's just so iconic, and I know exactly what I'm going to get when I look at that image. And you get it, those squiggly lines, it's like, yes!
What's your bottom tier?
Maybe all for you.
Oh.
Like, she looks nice.
She looks lovely.
I think like an album cover where she's just laying down, where like any pop diva is just laying down looking pretty, I'm not as interested.
I think for me, Discipline, I could see what we were going for. I don't know if you saw that one. That's because she's kind of gotten like the writing on her arms, like Janet Discipline on each arm.
Okay.
She kind of looks a little like she just got out of a pool. She looks a little damp. I don't know. It just doesn't look together. I got what they were going for. I put mid-tier Rhythm Nation and Velvet Rope because I think they're lovely covers, very much in keeping with the themes of their albums, but maybe not as much of a beautiful shot as the Janet cover. That Janet cover is perfect for her. Again, the font is lovely. Looks like the cover of Vogue. And the fact that you know, because it's the same picture that's used on Rolling Stone, you know that she's not wearing a shirt and that her man is covering her breasts. It's just like, yes!
This is another example, like Daydream, where it's a faraway shot, you know it's a faraway shot, and they just zoomed in, but it works.
It works. Because also it wasn't used for any other musical artwork, really, that picture. It just was the cover of Rolling Stone.
Yeah. I'm sorry I accidentally did my top tier first for Janet.
How dare you?
Sorry.
Kick him out. Ariana Grande.
Lowest tier, I would say, I don't know what's going on with the border on positions.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I guess it's not a bad picture of her, but it just feels kind of random.
Yeah.
The color correcting.
Yeah, like she's very faded out.
It's very faded out, but like, it's the border for me that really makes me go,
yeah.
Why did we stick a border on this?
That's near the bottom for me, but I find her first album cover to be so awful.
It's not awful.
It just looks cheap to me. It looks fan-made. Unless I actually saw a fan-made cover for yours truly. No, that's the one. She's coming from a Nickelodeon place. No one was expecting her to blow up the way she did. So I get it. We were truly throwing nickels and dimes at this project, but like we could have hired someone. Like it just looks, I could have made this and looked at it and been like, I need to do this again. Like the fonts are too small. It's just, no.
I love how you're very much about like font, and I'm very much about like the composition of the photograph.
You are. It's different points of view. What's your mid-tier?
I would say my everything. Like it's kind of iconic how she's laying on the stool or whatever she is. But like it doesn't give a huge impression, but still it's a nice picture. Dangerous Woman is also mid-tier, I would say.
I would say the second album is an improvement over yours truly, but again, yes, doesn't give you that much. It'd probably be lower mid-tier for me. I put Dangerous Woman in my mid-tier as well. I put Thank You Next in my mid-tier, but it's probably my lower top tier. It's beautiful. I like the border around it. I like the upside downness. But as much as you know my feelings on the album, Sweetener is a fucking gorgeous album cover.
It's gorgeous, and I love whoever had the idea. It was just like, let's turn it upside down.
Right, and it's like, did we need her upside down again? That was my issue with Thank You Next, is like, why are we still upside down? But when she first popped out upside down looking gorgeous, even the blondness of the hair, like, I think that's one of the most beautiful pictures of her. And I love that it's upside down.
It's beautiful. I would put Sweetener and I would put Thank You Next in my top tier.
Your top, okay.
Just because when I first saw it, I was like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, why is this border so thick?
It was thick.
The border's it takes up more space than the actual picture. I was like, why? And just like, it feels like such a random picture. And I didn't even notice until like literally years later that it says Thank You Next on her neck.
Yes.
But then after I listened to the album, and I was probably like swayed by how great the album of Thank You Next is, I was just like, never mind, the cover's
never
perfect.
mind it, the cover's great.
There is an attitude to the cover. Yeah, I think it fits the album really well. So that's why I put Thank You Next in my top tier.
Now we're on to Xtina.
All right.
Happy, what was it, 15th anniversary, 20th anniversary of Stripped? It must be 20th. Flops, what is the bottom tier?
You know my thoughts on a woman laying down looking pretty, back to basics. I don't know.
We'll come back to that.
Oh no.
We will come back
I
to
just
that.
like, I'm not getting much out of it, and it feels so throwbacky.
But
which
that's
is what the
whole
album,
thing.
I know, it fits the album so well, but like I don't really like that album.
I don't love that album either, but I will come back to it. I awarded Sweetener -- 1, so I can give bad albums good ratings here. Bottom for me is Bionic. Bionic, the picture of her is gorgeous. But the cutout on her face, it's like, okay, now we're getting a little into like comic book land. Fine. This is mid-tier. It's like we're doing something, I get it. But then, of course, for me, it lives and dies with the fucking font. And the fact that the font is like bleeding down the right side of that cover, I'm like, boo!
It's a
like,
lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Like she's just doing too much, which is like a problem that she has a lot of the time.
That came out like around like when Lady Gaga was big, right?
It was.
So I feel like we were influenced by that. Like we're gonna do a lot.
Right.
We're gonna be robots.
I think that was also an interview that she gave during that era. Because I'm gonna ask her about Lady Gaga, and she said, "I don't know if that's a man or a woman." So she's gonna pretend she didn't know she was. But anyways, I don't know if you looked through all her discography. The fact that the Me Reflejo cover is like an image that was shot on the set of the Come On Over Baby video or photo shoot is unforgivable. Like, give her a new shoot. This is a whole nother album. I get that we're doing versions of songs on her initial album, but like, it looks cheaper than the Come On Over Baby single, and you're using pictures from the same shoot. Like, you could get her in a studio doing something different. Hate that. Mid-tier, it's iconic. Stripped.
We'll talk about it.
I think it's mid only because it seems like a little bit of a lot. Like there's so much happening. Again, the fonts. But I do love it. It is an iconic picture.
I would say mid for me is Liberation.
Yeah.
Like I think it's a beautiful picture of her, like with the no makeup and everything.
Yes.
I think it's good, like a nice glamour shot. My top tier is Stripped.
My top tier is Back to Basics.
Stripped, it's just so simple, and
Yes.
it's that full body with that outfit that looks like it looks like she threw it off,
Yes.
threw the outfit in the mud, swished it around, put it on her body, and cut it up into pieces, and was just like,
outfit is strong.
and
Pants.
the way those pants, the way the dye job,
I know.
it gets dark around the coochie.
I know.
Iconic.
It is iconic.
It was an iconic era that
Absolutely.
just reflected so much. It was so
did.
dirty. I love it.
And as much as I give Back to Basics shit with its throwbacky sounds and like the thing is the fact that it's a double album is half the problem. You can make a good album that's like 11 tracks. But if you're going to do a throwback album and wanting to make the album art match that, it was so on point. Like it didn't look like she was trying too hard. It didn't look like, oh, it's the of the era lens of what it is. It's like, no, we're going to go through, like put the record label and its logo on the front. It's going to look this specific way. It looked so clean and so classic. Like it was, of everything that era, was most in keeping with the vision of what I thought the era should be.
Okay, I fully agree with everything you
Yes.
say, 1,000%. And it is a very pretty
She looks
picture
great.
of her and everything. It's just, I don't know, just like an image of like a woman lying to, I'm always just like, this doesn't move me.
Doesn't resonate
Yeah,
for
it
you?
doesn't resonate with me. I wouldn't like pick up the album.
Interesting. I love that you
from
don't
just
like people
this.
lying down. You don't like people resting? What's that about?
I'm a worker bee.
A worker bee. I love it. Next up, Katy Perry. We'll start with her flops because she flopped a lot this week. With the Rick Caruso of it all.
Oh God. Witness though.
Awful.
Whoa, wait, hold on. I forgot about Smile. I don't know why it doesn't work. Because there are definitely cheaper looking album covers out there in the
Sure.
world, but it's something about it just,
The proportions are very weird. Like the size of the smile of the clown.
Oh, the font. You're talking about the font.
Of course. And then like, I get she's doing a sad clown thing, but it's like, she's done kitsch for so long.
yeah, the fact that if it was so kitschy but yet still so simple. And the reason why maybe it's in my bottom tier is because I know that literally like the next day, that person totally took that image when it came out and revamped it to look like a giant,
And it
huge-
was
and it was
amazing.
gorgeous. And it was
Yes.
just like, and you could tell Katy Perry was probably like, fuck.
She should have re-released the album with that cover.
Yeah, like we should have found this person who did that and paid them, and this should
Absolutely.
be the next album cover because that image was amazing, and just the actual album cover was just like, okay.
No, yes. I also just want to throw into the bottom tier because, you know, mine matches that. The Teenage Dream Complete Confection cover is disgusting. Like, I find it so, look at this. You see this shit?
It's
Oh, it looks again like it was made in Microsoft Paint. I hate everything about it. And the fact that you're coming off of an era that's as successful and brilliant as Teenage Dream, and you're like, let me do a re-release, let me add a couple new songs, one of which is gonna go #1. This is what we're coming up with? I would never pick this up on a shelf. Disgusting.
disgusting.
Disgusting. Mid-tier, one of the boys
One
is
of the
fine.
boys, absolutely.
Fine.
Yeah.
I put Prism in the mid-tier as well.
Okay, I would put Prism below One of the Boys.
Sure.
And Witness is just, I don't know what's going on.
No one knew what was going on with Witness.
Okay.
But Teenage Dream's a fucking perfect album cover. Like, it was so good in a way that she had not become like as big of a pop star as she was going to be, that it almost felt like when she first showed the picture, it was like, oh, this is almost like out of her league of how good it is. Of course, 5 number ones later or whatever, it definitely lived up to that beautiful, gorgeous work of art of an album cover. It's the perfect mix of like sexy and sweet. It looks like a painting. Like, I love it. Iconic.
Yeah, those pink clouds.
Brilliant.
That it's like, are these clouds or is this cotton candy?
No way to
Don't know.
Doesn't matter. It's both. Madonna.
Worst album cover, Hard Candy.
Which one? What was that cover again?
Is the pink background and she's in like the bondage shit
like
and she's like,
yeah.
oh, is it boxing?
And she's supposed to be like boxing.
I don't even know. She's like licking a leather strap or something. Like, it's just like not appealing in the slightest. It looks cheap. It looks tacky. I don't, no, I'm so sorry. The colors are weird to me. I know.
Bottom tier for me are American Life, which again, I don't hate that album as much as people do.
Oh, I like that album a lot.
But I think it's just a little on the nose, like the Che Guevara. It just is like, okay, and it's like, you listen to the album and it's like, like American Life is about that, but like the other songs aren't really about like, let's make a revolution. I don't know, it just bothered me. And then music is just kind of nothing. Like it's just like, oh, I'm in a cowgirl outfit. Doesn't do much for me. Mid-tier.
I would say mid-tier is her second album, which is Like a Virgin.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's a good image. She's cool, she's stylish. This is the image, this is what you think of when you think of Madonna at that time. Yeah. I would look at her and be like, she's cool.
Mid-tier for me, I put True Blue, which I know how you feel about True Blue all around.
But that cover.
It's a good cover.
I would say that is lower highest tier.
Okay, well I put it in the mid-tier, which I'm happy with. And as much as I love the album and, you know, talk about these years as much as possible, Ray of Light.
How dare you?
It's straightforward. It's not terribly exciting. It's very evocative. It's the wind's a-blowing. Her hair's a little curly. The font's cute. But it's not, we're not breaking barriers with this cover.
I think that cover is top tier. That is such an iconic image. I think it reflects the style of the music so well. She looks great. The colors are rich. I think Ray of Light is her probably best album cover.
Wow. I have 3 in the top. This is the self-titled debut. I love that picture.
Really?
I think it's like, this is the introduction. Like, we've gone over so many debuts that feel more mid to me, and this feels very much like, oh, I know who this person is.
Okay, yeah.
You know?
The hair is short.
Yes.
She has an attitude on her face.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
It was very clear to me what she was. Like a Prayer. I love.
That's iconic.
That is an iconic image.
Yeah.
We're getting everything you need from me, from my midriff and all of the beads.
The beads.
It's just brilliant. And lastly, and I've always liked this album cover, I don't think I've ever discussed it, the Rebel Heart cover is great.
It's great.
It's great.
I would put that in like my top tier as well.
It's good, right?
I Ray of Light ahead, but Rebel Heart is a great
That's
cover.
a great cover. It's straightforward, it's simple, but it's also very evocative. It's like later Madonna who has something to say, and you can feel the something to say. It doesn't feel cheap or like she's doing too much, like on Hard Candy. Rebel Heart's a great album cover.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And a very good album.
And a good album.
I think.
Lord, she only has 3 albums, so it'll be easy to...
I mean, it's like, the debut album is the lowest tier. You think?
I hate that Solar Power cover.
Solar Power's, that cover's great.
No, it's not.
I love it.
No, it's
I
not.
love it.
No, it's not. It's like, why are we looking up your body as you're running
Why
around?
not?
Why are your legs?
Because we're not looking up at the body, we're looking up at her body and the sun.
No.
Because we love the beach.
No, I'd rather some text on a fucking, scrawled on a black background.
I will say though, there is something badass about being like my debut, after I had a hit song.
Yes.
Like, no, you're not gonna see my face on the cover. It's just gonna be, whatever it's called.
Pure heroin.
It's just gonna be pure heroin, Lord.
Yep.
Like, I think there's something badass about
Absolutely,
that. Yeah.
mid-tier.
I think that Solar Power album cover is great.
You're not putting it above
No. No.
Just making sure.
Top tier.
Top tier. Melodrama. That's a great album cover, like an all-time great album cover.
Yes, fits the album so well.
Hanging in the Louvre. Oh, what a song.
I mean, what an album.
I mean, Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga. I would say the one that interests me the least is The Fame.
Oh, that's interesting.
Just a close-up of the face. I like the cuteness of like the Fame written on the sunglasses, but compared to the Lady Gaga-ness she would soon put out, like, it's a little underwhelming.
I'd say it's lower mid-tier for me. Like, I think it's fine. It does what it needs to do. You know who it is. Bottom 2 for me are the bottom 2 for opposite reasons. 1, Joanne.
Okay. Joanne was just a shock to the heart. Like, pastels. Like, when I first saw that cover, and I just saw the light pink and the light blue, I was like, who is this? Is this Lady Gaga? So the shock value is what raises Joanne a little bit above the fame for me.
I mean, Joanne, where do you think you're going? Again, the promise of Lady Gaga for me was always she is the most exciting person in the room, so never bore me with anything. But the opposite of that is when you get too excited and you put your head on a fucking motorcycle, because I don't want to see that. I think that's unappealing. Everyone's like, no, it's camp, it's amazing, she's over the top. No, we've overshot it, it's too much, it looks stupid and cheap.
It's psychotic.
It's psychotic!
I think it works, but it is a little psychotic.
It does not work. What's your mid-tier?
I would say art pop.
Art pop's in my mid-tier.
Why not put art pop in there? It works for the era because we're just throwing a lot of shit at you.
Right.
It's a little jarring at first, and you're like, but then you listen to the album and you're like, appropriate.
Exactly, a little jarring. I put my tops, I think we might have the same ones. Fame Monster to me, the blonde, not the brunette. Like, it's just too iconic, like that haircut. It just is too brilliant. It's very simple, but lovely, and Chromatica.
Oh.
I fucking love the Chromatica cover. Like, it's one of my favorite covers we've talked about on this whole thing. I think it's brilliant. I think it looks expensive. I think it could be the movie poster for like a big sci-fi epic, and that being the theme of the record, like, was very exciting.
Oh, the visuals of Chromatica like felt so cohesive, just like the David Cronenberginess of it, like the sci-fi monsters, slime, grossness. It's raining on me, like, and we live in some Gotham City-ish kind of area. Like, the attention to detail on the album is just so extravagant, and it's just so interesting how it's the complete opposite of the Fame Monster. Like, the Fame Monster is just so sleek and simple, but yet so like
great covers, absolutely. TLC, my girls.
All right, bottom tier fan mail. Girl, no. I get it was of its time.
You need to be there.
I get it. It was what, 1999?
Yes.
It feels very of its time, but like looking back on it, I'm just like, this feels dated. Like the blue, they look like ghosts, but like also like the Avatar creatures.
For me, I would say my bottom tier is 3D, because that was, I mean, if we're counting 3D, it was posthumous of Left Eye, but that album cover was kind of like fan mail light. It's just not great. Okay. I would also put Ooh on the TLC tip in the bottom tier, because that to me feels very of its time and felt very much like, you know, we're the girls who sing the All That theme, and like there's so much more than that.
But I would put that in mid-tier,
just
because it's of its time. Yes, it feels very, very early 90s, but like, it looks so fun. I picked this up and be like, these girls seem like fun, whereas fan mail, I'm kind of just like,
It's fun, and I would put in the mid-tier, and everyone's gonna hate me, because it is an iconic album and an iconic album cover, and the mid-tier is Crazy Sexy Cool. They are very washed out in that red. They are very washed out in that red, and it works. They look good. The font is cute, but it's just not their peak visually. Anything to say?
This is the worst thing you have ever said in the history of Two Gay
No, because I'm right. I am right.
The Crazy Sexy Cool cover is not just the top tier TLC album cover, it is the top tier album cover of all album covers of all time.
It is a great album cover. I do think they're too washed out. I like the font.
The washed outness is amazing. The fact that they just like blend in to the red light special, if you would call it. Just, it looks like art. It looks like something I would want to hang on my wall, but also shows you like, these are the girls singing. Like, it does everything it needs to do. It has attitude, it has point of view, it has perspective. It's stunning to look at. It feels of its time, but doesn't feel like so dated. I'm so floored that you are saying this
I guess
right now.
It's just a little bit more in the box than what some of us can recognize is their best album cover, which is motherfucking fan mail. I prefer the Crazy Sexy Cool album, but the fan mail cover had everyone shook, because you're citing Avatar years and years and years later as if they were biting it off. No, Avatar was biting off fucking TLC. They are coming back at this moment where we all thought, are they breaking up? Like, what is happening? It's been 5 years since Crazy Sexy Cool. Lisa went to jail, she burned the house down. They come back with this giant song. They're gonna say, this is what the future is, because 2000's right around the corner. It didn't turn out exactly like that, but It was a very solid theme. They were doing Afrofuturism before Janelle Monáe was. They were bringing it to the forefront. I think it's gorgeous. I think it's forward thinking. I think it's like the chilly coldness of that cover still affects me to this day.
There's a chilly coldness to Crazy Sexy Cool.
Yes, but it's red and washed out.
But the washed out is so good. It looks like newspaper print. I love it.
Right below Crazy Sexy Cool or Fan Mail. Cover only, not album.
When I think of the 90s, I think of Crazy Sexy
We
Cool.
all do, but nostalgia is not a reason to make these choices.
It's that image. It looks so organized and clean. Fan mail feels a little messy. That font.
I love that TLC.
That little like fan mail with the reverb coming out of it.
Because it was AOL era. They were bringing you to the future.
But Crazy Sexy Cool is the 90s, but also timeless. Like Crazy Sexy Cool could be an album cover today.
Yes, but fan mail was more forward thinking. It inspired more in its art. I think it's beautiful. It's a vision. Justice for fan mail.
Oh my God.
Oh my God,
Oh
indeed.
my God.
Oh my God, indeed.
I would love to just paint my entire wall just the Crazy Set and have those three women just looking at me.
I'll paint my wall the fan mail cover.
Great. We'll see.
We'll see which looks better.
Who comes to visit more?
We will see. We shall see. Wow. It's hard being right, isn't it? Rihanna.
I would say worst is Rated R.
Rated R is kind of whatever.
Rated R, because I look at that album cover and I'm like, this looks like it should be a rock album. Which, like, there are some.
She's trying to, she's recovering post Chris Brown.
Yeah.
And so she has some emotions she's trying to get out. I'd put it in bottom middle to me.
Okay, and Rated R and Talk That Talk are kind of like similar images except different coloring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say Rated R is the one that I get the least excited about.
I would say Music of the Sun.
Oh, whoa, I forgot about that. I forgot about Music of the Sun.
Yes, Music of the Sun. Again, font. And just like she didn't know she was, she could have just been a random artist, but she's Rihanna. And also, I hate to say this because we always talk about how underrated this album is and how excellent it is. The Unapologetic cover, I think I have grown weary of covers in which people have writing all over themselves. I feel like we've seen it too often. I think even at that time, were people like talking all this shit about Rihanna? I feel like no, people were very team Rihanna at this point. I just feel like we've done that image and thought to death.
Sure, but I do like the image itself. I would put it mid-tier.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would put Good Girl Gone Mad mid-tier.
I would put Good Girl Gone Bad upper mid-tier just because the composition of the body is great.
I love the lean. And that's like her breakthrough as a superstar. So it's hard not to get excited about it.
Yeah.
My tops, I fucking love the Loud cover. I think that's very much like, okay, this is what it is. My hair is bright red. We're doing dance music and it's loud.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And there's just the redness, how it pops out.
Yes.
Great. Yeah.
And Anti's cover.
Anti's cover.
That is art.
That is Rihanna.
Yes.
That is Anti. And neither of us are really like anti-heads, but it was a very forward-thinking album, and that is a forward-thinking, badass cover.
Yes, it is one of the greatest covers we've talked about all day.
Yeah, I think it's a great cover. Just
Absolutely.
that, I guess it's her as a child.
Yeah, I think so.
And just like the crown, like covering her eyes, and just like the red. Because you look at it and you're just like, what the fuck is this?
I know.
What the fuck is this, Rihanna? And you listen to the song, to Woo, and you're like, what the fuck is this, Rihanna?
Woo is a weird one. Britney.
Oh man, the bottom is, it has to be Glory.
Glory's bad.
The thing is, I remember when Glory, that picture came out and you were like, this is a disaster. And I was like, I think it's fine, it's just a close-up. But then when the Make Me Ooh music video came out, which is that music video.
Ooh!
And then you saw, oh, the Glory cover is just a snapshot, a close-up snapshot.
It's a screen grab.
From the music video. And then especially when like, however many years later, she was like, hey, I'm about to release the picture that was supposed to be the album cover of Glory, and it's so fucking good.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, if this was the album cover, God. And I believe that's the album cover on Spotify now.
Along with Glory, I would put Blackout.
Listen.
Which is a cacophony of an image. There's so much happening, the random squares popping out. Yes, it's iconic because the album's iconic. That cover's gross.
Listen.
It's hard to look at.
Yes, it looks like a 10-year-old discovered clip art and was just like, let me have some colors, let me find a random picture of her on Google that like isn't even in HD. I get it, I get it. I would put that cover in no category. I would just, it's not lower, it's not mid, it's not high, it's just iconic category. Iconic tier. Blackout,
it's
Britney
bad.
Spears.
It's bad.
The blackout cover should have been what Beyonce did with her
Absolutely! If it was just all black, it said blackout, and maybe said Britney Spears if we wanted.
It didn't need to
It didn't need. It just should have been all black, white font, blackout.
Blackout, and everyone would have been like,
oh,
what
the fuck is this?
Because everyone was already talking about her to begin with. Her name doesn't need to be on there. It should have just been blackout.
Period.
And everyone would have been buying that.
Absolutely.
Shit and loving it.
Oh, what a great album.
Oh, I mean.
And another cover that's bad is Circus. I hate all the stars
the
around
stars?
it. It's so much.
When you do a border that's bad, it's so weird. It's like, why is the border so in the picture?
Yes.
The look on her face just.
It's like she doesn't want to be there.
So
it makes you feel sad.
Yeah.
I don't want to feel sad at the circus.
I would say, is her second to worst album cover.
Mid-tier for me is Oops.
Okay, I would put Oops upper mid-tier.
I think that's fair. I think it's a very iconic image. She looks great. And like the composition of the image is nice. Top tier for me, one that was mentioned earlier, the Glory Deluxe is absolutely fucking gorgeous. David LaChapelle has such a vision, worked with her for so many years with the Rolling Stone of it all. I think they've done some music videos together. So glad we finally got a cover that is up to the standard of that brilliant album. I'd also put the Britney cover. I think that one is very of its time, but it's very like Britney at her most Britney, if that makes sense. Like even if it didn't sell as much as Oops, her image for me is solidified in that album cover.
I mean, just the most iconic to me where it's just like, yes, this image, and it's the most simple. It's her debut album. That image is so iconic to me that I can't put it anywhere lower than the highest.
Right.
Like just the pink background, just that cutesy little girl next door look.
Yes.
It's so not what she became.
It's not.
But like, I will be damned if that picture was not everywhere.
It was.
And I have such fond feelings of nostalgia when I look at that picture. I realize this is not what we're talking about now. We have to think objectively.
Yes.
But I can't. With Britney Spears, I can't.
I'm glad it brings you joy.
Yes.
Last but not least, the voice herself. What's your least favorite Whitney Houston album cover?
I didn't even think of a least favorite. I have a favorite. What's your least favorite?
My least favorite is The Preacher's Wife. It is a gorgeous album. It is beautifully sung. Whitney back in church singing gospel like she did when she was growing up. But it's like, Whitney Houston is one of the most beautiful women who has ever sung and has ever lived in the world. And the picture they chose, I'm like, what is this?
She just looks a little grumpy.
It's like, well, she looks upset. She looks like not interested. She's a supermodel, gorgeous. And like, this is just not the look. Mid-tier for me, I'd say the debut. I think much like Britney's debut, it's an iconic image where she's like all bald, just looking up, and you just see Whitney Houston. I love the orange in the back, beautiful coloring there.
Yeah, I would put that as mid-tier as well.
What would be your top tier?
I love the casualness of My Love Is Your Love.
Oh.
I just think it's such a, and you look at her and you're just like, God, she's such a sweetheart.
And what a great album.
I know. And so I love how casual that image is, and I feel you get such a good sense of her. But something about Whitney.
Yes!
Like, and I get it, it's just a picture of a girl standing there looking pretty.
But man.
Damn, she looks beautiful. And my favorite part of this album cover is how messy her hair is. I Want to Dance with Somebody is on that album, and it looks like she just came back from a windy party dancing all day. Her hair is just a mess, but she just still looks so good. It's such a gorgeous snapshot of her.
I agree. And the only other one that I'd like to put into consideration, I think it's one of my favorite greatest hits covers, is Whitney's Greatest Hits, where she's basically like drilling all her platinum plaques against the wall. Let me show you this. It's so fucking good. She's in like a full box of her platinum plaques because that's how fucking successful she is. She's thrilled about it, hair's thrown back, and she's just putting another one on the wall because it's every other part of the square cube has more platinum songs all around it. It is such a fucking flex. She looks beautiful.
She looks great.
And it's like completely appropriate for her greatest hits.
Yeah, I agree. And I love it when just like you get a good smile out of Whitney. You're just like, she was so effervescent and she fills the room so much.
I know. It's true. Well, guys, that's it. This was probably going to be a long one. We've been talking forever. But it was so fun to revisit. And I feel like more attention needs to be paid to album covers. I feel like in this digital age, we're just streaming things on Spotify. It's just a little square. But we can do better than like, I'm going to take a portrait mode selfie and throw it on an anti-hero remix. Okay?
Okay.
All I'm gonna say.
Okay. All right, we took it there. We took it there.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Tell us below what your favorite album covers from the pop girls are. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at MattPalmerMusic.
And it's Matt Steele.
And at 2Gay Mats for both of us. So we have a podcast that comes out every Monday. It's called 2Gay Mats. You can find it on your favorite podcatcher. And who do we need to give shout outs to today?
To Fabian,
yes.
Fernando,
yes.
Adam Parnell,
yes.
Jeff,
yes.
Chris,
yes.
and Montana.
Thank you guys so much for watching. And we'll be back soon with more 2Gay Mats.
Bye.
Bye.